radio friends, on Friday, the first day of May. May Day. Good to have you here. Vera Massey with us, University Extension. Always a pleasure to have you here, Vera. And today we are going to talk about
ways to take better care of ourselves.
Yeah, and we've done this before, but you're kind of going to lump them all in one segment, right?
Yeah, you know, this past year I've been fortunate to go to conferences where there have been people from other countries across the nation talking about research on how to promote well-being and being healthier, happier people. And I kept hearing some of these things over and over again, things that I know in my heart to be true, but now the research that's being done across the country and the world is showing, in fact, they are very effective.
And many of the things we have heard a long time. Our parents told us these things.
Yes, and now it's being documented by research. But you know, even though we have research and even though we know these things are good for us, we tend to get caught up in the chaos of life sometimes. So these things that I'm going to share, we know, and they're simple, but it's the practice of them that's hard.
Right.
It's the practice of them. And the one that I'm hearing more and more, and I know that we resist this, and that is the importance of sleep.
Oh.
We are sleep deprived, and we are seeing so many documented downsides to our physical body, whether there can be a higher likelihood for cancers, immune system weakening, lack of productivity, the ability to learn.
And just feeling good.
Feeling good, absolutely.
You got to get enough sleep. Now, I don't want to come across as a know-it-all, which I've been called Mr. Know-it-all. But myself, I know that if I don't get, and I guess it says I'm getting older, I got to have 7.5 to 8 hours of sleep a night.
And see, that's really what we need. We get on average, Americans, 6.7 hours of sleep.
Oh, I couldn't function on that.
Well, we've done it, but we don't function well.
No.
And if we think we are, if we ask the people around us, they would go, well, they're a little grumpier today, or they're not as sharp today.
Right.
It does affect us, whether we want to acknowledge it or not.
People make fun of me that I have to go to bed at a certain time. I don't feel good staying up until 10 o'clock at night. That's not the way I operate. If I go to bed after 10 o'clock at night, I'm a zombie the next day.
Right. Well, sleep is important, so, you know, some people will either take that advice or not, but we know it helps. Sleep is important. The other one is moving more regularly, stretching more regularly. Our bodies don't do well in this position.
Oh, texting all the time.
Or just in this position, you know, it's not good for the spine. And so just even at a minimum, once an hour,
get up and move and stretch. And I read that the longer you sit, the more prone you are to developing a cancer.
Well,
sitting is not good for you.
Sitting is not good for you. And here's the deal. Anybody that's ever been around animals, what is the first thing they do when they get up in the morning?
They stretch.
They stretch and they yawn.
Yeah.
And stretching and yawning both kind of rewire us.
Oh.
And yawning is something that affects some different nerves. And so even just and it's contagious. If you've ever seen something and you watch animals, one animal yawns, the other one yawns. So it's sort of built into us.
You're
a very healthy.
Right
I know. I'm going to want you to. Now that we're talking about the power of suggestion here.
So
moving regularly.
Okay,
yes.
We're got to move along here. Look at the time.
Oh, I know. And the other thing is to try to just be more tuned into your life versus always distracted, because we're always distracted. When we're multitasking, which again the brain can only focus on one thing at a time, that actually causes you to be more likely to get stressed because things are spinning, all the time. So slowing it down. The word meditation, if you don't like the word meditation, just think of focused breathing.
Or quiet time.
Quiet time, just to sort of that calming that allows that part of your brain that helps with the reasoning to to get stronger versus the distracted brain that creates more stress in your life. The other thing is that to find something in your life that you can be passionate about and get excited about, because that wires our brain in different ways. We have come back from some conferences where we look at workforce preparedness. The studies now are very scary. They say about 30% of workers are engaged. The other, what would that be if there's 30? 70% are disengaged. That means they are not actively committed and involved in their work. And
so studies are showing that only 30%
are actively engaged, and that means that on task, into what they're doing, and that's costing the economy enormous amounts. So because of all of our distractions, because people are stressed out, they're tired, they're not able to be engaged and productive, and it's one of the major issues we have in the workforce today.
Yeah, so you might start, first of all, by trying to get enough sleep.
Exactly. That's why I started with the sleep first, because it affects not only our work, but relationships and our physical health.
And you feel better if you get a good night's sleep of resting.
Absolutely.
It recharge. Okay, here, you put it this way. Your cell phone. Everybody can relate to the cell phone. You're on the cell phone all day long, you're playing with the cell phone. The battery goes down at nighttime. Unless you recharge that battery,
exactly.
Unless you plug it in and give it some rest time to recharge, your cell phone is not going to work.
And we're not going to work as well either. So if you're not driving the car right now, just take a big stretch, because that's really good, John. And also remember that giving and helping others is an also critical part of your health. We know from research those that help others, that are more compassionate, their brain is wired differently, and you are healthier, happier people.
Right. And when you're happy, when you are a happier person, you are a healthier person.
And when you're a healthier person, you tend to do these things we've been talking about.
So just start off by going to sleep early tonight.
Do one little thing. It can make a big difference in your life.
Vera, thank you so much for coming by.
Good to be here.
People want more information. How do they get in touch with you?
Call the Extension Center, 445-9792.
Okay. Operators are standing by right now to take your call. Vera Massey, pleasure having you here. Monday, Recycling Through the City of Columbia. Our program directed by Travis McMillan, Reynolds Journalism Institute. Audio, Pat Akers, KBIA. Our floor director, Brendan McDermott. And our assistant producer and guest coordinator, Uncle James Mauser. Drop me an email, pepperp@missouri.edu. Bye-bye.